How to recondition your soul. First, it helps to understand why you need to recondition your soul. Some people do know, but not everybody's cognitively aware of it. Some people are emotionally aware of it, but it helps to be cognitively aware of it as well. It is a fact that in this world, most of us, no, all of us, undergo some degree of trauma, abuse, mistreatment by others, by ourselves, by world systems, all kinds of different factors. It's just the way life is here now on this planet, till Yeshua comes back and fixes everything. So what does that do? That conditions our souls, okay? And how does it condition them? It conditions them to that stuff. It conditions them to abuse. It conditions them to fear. It conditions them to being treated incorrectly. It conditions them to being used and abused and manipulated and coerced and sometimes physically abused, sometimes sexually abused, sometimes spiritually abused. All kinds of things, right? Which can happen to human beings. When these things happen to us, which they do regularly in the world, our souls respond. We have responses, okay? And those responses become normal, okay? Now, this is in the absence of a lot of metacognition and intentional work otherwise, which we can do, but it takes a great maturity level, and it takes a lot of intention. It takes a lot of metacognition, which is just oversight on yourself, and it takes God, okay? And part of that is what we're going to talk about in reconditioning your soul. But most people don't do all that stuff ahead of time. They just get their souls conditioned to the beating, right? That's the majority of human population. That's the majority of their experience. Okay. So our souls respond. What do? They put up walls. They put up bars. They become non-trusting. And here's the worst one. They don't receive love. They get to a point where they haven't received love, and so they are conditioned to not receiving love. And we forget how to receive love. We forget how to trust, and we forget how to receive love. And if we're not aware of that, and we're not intentionally acting otherwise, it becomes the norm. Okay? Ask me how I know. And that's a problem, okay? Because when you can't trust and receive love, then you're effectively cut off from the one thing you need most, which is loving relationships with God and with others. That's just a fact. We are love-receiving and love-giving beings at our core. You know, we can do a ton of other things, but at our core, that's what we need the most. That's who we are, and that's what we need the most. That's what we most need to do in our lives. So if you can't trust and you can't receive love, then you're missing out on the two most important things in life. You're missing out on love with God and love with people. Ask me how I know, and I'll gladly tell you. But that's a subject of another video. So, if your soul, most of us deal with this, if your soul is conditioned to not trust and to not receive love, which is keeping you from the healthy, loving relationships with God and people that you so need, you have to recondition your soul. How do you do that? Here's how. In your relationship with God, you work on those two things, okay? I'm going to give you specifics. Learning to trust happens inside of a relationship. A relationship with God is like a relationship with anyone else. You learn to trust him as you get to know him. Think about it. That's the process that happens in any decent, good relationship that we have with people. We learn to trust them as we get to know them. Trust is built over time. That's just the process. That's the way it happens. Okay? It's the same with God. As we develop a relationship with him, we learn that he is perfectly trustworthy. The process is much easier with him because he doesn't make mistakes like people do. Right? We go through that process with people and they're going to make mistakes, and trust is rebuilt when they apologize and we apologize and everybody's forgiven. Trust is built slower, but it's built quicker with God because he doesn't make mistakes. So we learn that he's trustworthy inside of that relationship with him. So we learn how to trust the more we engage in that relationship with him. Trust, the ability to trust, is reconstructed in our souls as we engage in relationship with Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus, with God, Papa, Yahweh, Father, through him, and with their Spirit. The ability to trust is reconstructed in our souls as we learn that he's trustworthy and engage in that relationship with him consistently over time. Okay? What does that do? Since trust is the doorway into love, that enables our souls to receive love from him, which then enables our souls to receive love from others. We're reconditioning our soul to receive love. Okay? God is love. Everything he does is of his love. He can't do anything that's not love. Everything God does is of love. So anything that God does is love. Anything, right? Even discipline, even tough love, it's still love. Okay? Everything God does is of love. So we need to be able to receive love to engage in that relationship with God and receive whatever he has for us. Okay? So in that relationship with him, you're intentional. This is the key. Pay close attention. You have to say and do, when you're with him, you say, however you address him. I call him Papa, I call him Yahweh, Yehovah, or Yeshua, Jesus, whatever you call him, it's between you and him. You say, I receive your love. When you're just sitting there with him, when you're laying in your bed and you can't sleep and you're talking to him, when you're having coffee with him in the morning, whenever you're with him, when you're driving, it doesn't matter. You know, it's usually good quality time, but it can be whenever. You're like, Papa, I receive your love. I'm being intentional because I know I need to recondition my soul to receive love. As that happens in a consistent relationship with him over time, your soul will get reconditioned to receive love, which is the ultimate skill in life. There are two ultimate skills in life: trusting and receiving love, that every human being must have to survive and to live any sort of a decent life. So, how do you recondition your soul? In a relationship with Jesus himself, God himself, right? Holy Spirit, how you relate to him. You develop trust over time by just engaging in the relationship consistently. He's a relationship kind of guy. He loves it. Trust me on this. And you intentionally receive his love. Papa, I receive your love. The next day, Papa, I receive your love. The next night when you're laying in bed, Papa, I receive your love. Yahweh, Yehovah, Creator, God, I receive your love. And you will recondition your soul to trust and to receive love, to begin to live a more healthy life. Thank you, and have a nice day.